And guest passes right across the season. With the Sportsbet Caulfield Cup Carnival just around the corner, there's no better time to become a Melbourne Racing Club member. Join today at mrc.racing.com.
Curious about how a business loan from On Deck can assist your small business? Meet Fernando, the mastermind behind a booming construction management company.
I needed $47,000 to get new equipment and grow my business. And in just 2 hours, On Deck had the money in my account. So good.
Visit On Deck. Business loans can be approved and in your account within 2 hours, like Fernando. Visit On Deck now. On Deck. T's and C's apply. All loans are subject to lender approval.
Here's another weekend offer from Bet365. Do you like a challenge? Try Bet365's 6-horse challenge this Saturday. If you're an existing customer, head over to the racing section and click on Games to submit your selections for a chance to win $50,000. Don't worry if you don't get all 6 right. You'll still receive cash if you correctly pick 4 or 5 horses. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Subject to availability, eligible customers only, terms and conditions apply.
Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, call 1-800-858-858 or visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.
Winning Post is Australia's greatest selling racing paper. On sale nationally from the crack of dawn every Friday. Featuring comprehensive lift-out form guides for Friday, Saturday and Sunday meetings. And the hugely popular white waste rating for all races. And great yarns and feature articles. Great value too at just $6. Pick up Australia's favourite racing newspaper from your local newsagents or download the form from winningpost.com.au.
On RSN Racing and Sport, it's time for the Grey Areas with Jason Adams and George Ferrugia.
That kid was a human dynamo.
Are you sure you're talking about George?
George of the jungle, friend to you and me.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Grey Areas on this Friday afternoon. And it's Friday afternoons where G Ferrugia starts to click through the gears and go through the motions into a big weekend after what was a great night of racing last night all the way up the East Coast from Victoria. It's Sandown with heats of the McKenna Memorial and also Brisbane Cup heats and Queensland Cup heats up at the Q. Georgie, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, mate. How are you?
I'm well. It was a big night. John Henry, good afternoon to you, my friends.
Howdy, boys.
Great night of racing.
Yeah, lots to report on, isn't there? I mean, to sit there and just go punch for punch, whether it was at Sandown or up the Q, was very entertaining for the purists out there.
It was, and it started nice and early, just a touch over 6 o'clock for the Group 1 racing, and then I had one eye on the TV, and I've got a few Carlton fans, Jace, that are not
Do we want to
happy.
go there?
I have to repeat that tweet I heard this morning, which I thought was very, very funny. Carlton fans do not deserve this, considering the decorum they showed after last week's loss. I thought it was very, very funny, but... yeah, that's a bit of a train wreck there, mate.
Does Voss survive the year?
Yeah, I think he does, doesn't he?
Who have they got next week?
They've got a really hard run in the next 4 weeks. I think they've got Collingwood and the Mighty Hawks, so they're in a bit of trouble. And Brisbane or something like that. So anyway.
And the Swannies, we play the Dish Lickers tonight, the SCG.
I think you'll win too.
Big chance. Big chance.
I love your enthusiasm these days. It's gone full circle. Or 180.
Yeah, well, does that mean... What, I'm one-eyed and don't know what I'm talking about, or
no, I think
or have a close lens on it and know when we're going to fire.
I think you've been pretty spot on, to be honest.
So much so, I went the over 39 against Port last week.
I think it'll be close.
Yeah,
I think it'll be close tonight.
Well, bad kicking's bad football, mate.
That it is. A couple of big ins this week. Jake Lloyd after his drop last week and dominated in the Magoos, and Ollie Florent as well, who's been out, and he'll be itching to get back at it.
Good luck, mate.
Watch out.
I've got you in a multi.
Magnificent. Well, is that what we need, though? Is that really what we need?
Well, Geelong let us down last week.
Possibly
North Melbourne.
Kenya All Class couldn't carry the weight last night.
Oh, don't get me started. I'm never betting another greyhound off box 8 over 600 metres at Sandown again. Ever.
Race 3, Warwick Nabil, they're being loaded. Let's get to Rick McIntosh.
Miss Hubble. And have... had a few problems on the synthetic last start, but the runs prior were really good. I think Pata's hoping it can revert back to that turf form. It's into 320, gets Neil Farley, who goes pretty good around this neck of the woods. 480 to Daya. $5.50 for Wheat King, $8 Occasional Glimpse, and there's been money for Don't Share Seamus in the Jayco Jerry Ryan colours. Now here comes Bologna Baby up into line. And Going Rogue the grey. The Strawberry, as they call it, has gone to the outside gate, and they're set at the 1600 for the Valedale Hubner. Our third from Warwick Nabil this afternoon. Off this time, Occasional Glimpse jumped out okay with Rumble Bay, who tried to get forward, but plenty of others getting ahead of it now as they race towards the course proper out of that mile chute. Don't Share Seamus, Star of Ravener on the outsides, trying to head them all off, and will from Bologna Baby. Wheat King holding a spot inside of Don't Share Seamus, and Tadea goes forward. Miss Hubble's around centre field, passed by Rumble Bay. Jack Hill won the first two. He's midfield and wide on Rumble Bay. Occasional Glimpses on the inside, and they're followed by Alpine Honey, who gets back. So does its stablemate Going Rogue, and Real Zaz is with them. So they travel the back terrain there, and it is Star Ravener winning the battle for the lead, about a half-length margin on Bologna Baby, who sits up on the outside second. Wheat King is third. Today got into a good spot fourth, and Rumble Bay fifth. Then followed Don't Share Seamus, Occasional Glimpse. Miss Hubble's a long way back, only three behind it now, and being urged to improve. From Alpine Honey, Real Zaz and Going Rogue is going between runners as they come down the side. Star of Ravener from Bologna Baby. Today a camp right behind them, so is Wheat King, but needs a way out. Next in the field, Occasional Glimpses pushing into the clear from Don't Share Seamus. Alpine Honey riding for luck. Miss Hubble can't win. On the home turn, and Wheat King's getting a late rails run here as it goes through to join Tadea. Occasional Glimpses down the outside. Star of Ravener is boxing on. Tadea's had the best run. It moved up to Wheat King, took a narrow lead, and Tadea's going to win from Star of Ravener. Wheat King might have held third. Alpine Honey flew late. Then Miss Hubble, Occasional Glimpse, followed by Going Rogue, who finished right up behind them also. Next in the field then was Real Zaz, then followed by Bologna Baby, and Don't Share Seamus a long way back. So too Rumble Bay after not enjoying much luck. Tadea. Will Gordon for Peter Chow, the 3-year-old by Trapeze Artist from Moss Trip. Big betting drift, 350 out to 480, but he got it into the plum spot, 1-1. Wheat King got the rails run, but Tadea has been able to wear them down. Star of Raveners ran well at a price. Also, and it's run second. So 4-15, 14 and 1 of the interim.
4-15, 14 and 1. Gents, I'll get those when they're in the system, and we're getting pretty close to Victoria Shore for the next at Healesville.
Indeed we are, and we mentioned what sort of night it was at Sandown last night. We've got such a lot, lots to get through here with not a lot of time. So let's get stuck right into it, George. Heat by heat in the McKenna Memorial, and Intrepid Bale in the opening heat. I thought his slow to step, it could get him in trouble. The likes of Facetious could pull down on him, although she couldn't win in the ends. He did find some drama, but still recovered to win. He was superb.
He did. Down the back, you just knew he was going to run Fernando Duke down, didn't he? 9:30 early, Jace, which is going to be problematic in the final, I'd suggest. He needs to get into a better position, but his run to the line was good and his overall time was good.
Indeed, tough as nails. And then in the next race, this is possibly the most impressive performance of the night. One of, at least. Certainly doesn't meet the heights of Without a Trace. But Vista Weird, a greyhound you highlighted 2 weeks ago. I didn't mind him last week. He won. Thought it might be a bit tough for him last night, but from what he had to overcome, he was exceptional. Yeah, it was like his first day in high school yesterday, to be honest. I mean, it was a step up for him, and he handled it really well. I mean, look, it wasn't the hardest race once Kenya All Class did what Kenya All Class did. I mean, it was an open field, and look, the overall time wasn't there, but you're right, the way he went about it was fantastic. John Henry.
First, just on that third at Warwick-Nabil, boys. Number 4, Tadea, $5 and $2 was Will Gordon. 15, Star of Ravenna, paid $8.50 the place. 14, Wheat King at $1.90 and 1 Alpine Honey. The Quinella, $88. The Exacta paid $143. Trifecta, $759. And the first 4 at Warwick-Nabil, $4,361. The running double 2 and 4, $29. Jason.
And just before we move on from Heat 2, George, Kenya All Class, I mean, the expectation was on him. He was crunched early from Vista Weird in the early stages of the race. Went to go through the gears down the back, but the run that he wanted wasn't there.
No, it was really awful to watch on the eye. And mainly because I had a 7-leg multi and 6 of them got up. And
Doesn't help.
That really me off. They'd be frustrated. They would be frustrated because of that super trial run. It wasn't the hardest heat, Jace. But again, box 8 gets you undone if you're not beginning cleanly. And yeah, I thought it was a really plain run.
John, you ever seen a better example of someone talking through their pocket than what we're observing here in the studio on this Friday afternoon?
I just wish everyone could have seen his face then when he was grimacing. 6 out of 7. That would do your head in.
Yeah, it did my head in, mate. But
never mind,
what
Georgie.
can you do? What can you do?
A text message coming from Jamie. G'day, guys. Without a trace, wow. What a performance last night. And that is exactly the greyhound it's time to speak about. And I knew she'd go well, George. I was highly confident on her winning last night. She was so good in that rookie distance series through the Pink Diamonds. And then last night, although she did cop a bump as well in the early stage of the race, she was superb after that. I need to go back through the data, but I reckon her run home time is going to be outstanding.
Well, you've hit the nail on the head. I think what they would be happy with, Jason, is that they know that there's a lot of improvement to the first marker. She went 9.33, had to overcome a wide draw. We've just been speaking about never having a bet from box 8, but she came from box 7 and did extremely well. Clearly one of the greyhounds to beat in the final. Just a really, really emerging type and eventually going to get 700, Jace, so watch out.
All right, at the boxes here at Healesville for the 4th. Let's get there with Victoria Shaw.
As the amber light is flashing away here at Healesville, we're loading away. Zoom Boom, the short price select running from box number 8. And $6 for Little Nala and Search History in boxes 5 and 6. And the favourite Zoom Boom box 8. Stand by for a start, 300 metres ahead of them as we get set to run. Green light on, ready to go here at Healesville, the 4th. And they're often chasing, and Zoom Boom away to a nice start. Bone Shaker, Search History with good early speed coming towards the inside now. Elena's Jabrina as well, and getting the rails runners. Little Nala just leaving behind Gary Newitt out in the deep sidewinder, and Black Tycoon charging away. It's Zoom Boom now starting to get the upper hand. Drops the paw down to the floor, goes to the line and wins. Zoom Boom, Search History into second. Now lining up for third place we had then was Bone Shaker. Elena's Jabrina, Little Nala wasn't too far away. Further to Gary Newitt, sidewinder, and Black Tycoon, and the run 16 and 87. Zoom Boom. 2 in a row here at Healesville and 3 wins on the bounce overall. Nadine Jack, well done. Nadine had a nice double here last Friday, and Zoom Boom here storming to victory. She'll be very pleased with that. 8 from 6. Nice run to Search History as well. In third place, number 7, Bone Shaker. 8, 6 and 7, and 4th in number 5, Little Nala. Also another Nadine Jack runner. So 8, 6, 7 and 5, 16 and 84 the time. And the margin, we're just awaiting that to appear in the frame. There we go, 2 lengths by a length. 2 lengths by a length. So a nice, strong performance from Zoom Boom.
So, gentlemen, the 4 outside boxes are the result there at Healesville. Don't forget to get your quaddies on. We'll go back to Victoria for the first leg at 12.27, race 5. Number 8, Zoom Boom, $1.60 and $1.20. 6, Search History, $1.60. 7, Bone Shaker, $4.70 the place. And 5, Little Nala. The Quinella, $3. Exacta paid 6, Trifecta 51, and the first 4, 171 for the outside 4. The early quaddie, double 2, 6 and 8, paid $119, and the running double 6 and 8 paid $36.
Imagine calling a greyhound Search History. There must be a very touchy backstory to that.
Delete.
Very touchy backstory to that.
Search History.
Continuing on with our wrap of the heats and the McKenna last night at Sandown, we spoke about Without a Trace, and the Prosciutto Show discontinued into the next race, George, with Bebop Jazz. As much as a lot of us probably thought she'd be under the pump in that last 20 or 30 metres, wasn't to be. First out, first home.
I think she's found her distance here, Jace, doesn't she? She's
a good time of her career to do that.
Yeah, she's got Hume Cup written all over her. Absolutely, because she's got that good early speed, Jason. Like you said, she stuck on really nicely in what we said was the hardest heat, to be honest. I mean, she beat some very, very talented greyhounds. There's no doubt about that. So, yeah, we've got one more heat to go through, but you'd think the Prosciutto family have got a little bit of a mortgage on next week's final.
Well, in the last one, it was one of the more open betting races you've seen, and it was the roughie of the field to get the job done in Sunset Wisp. It was messy early. Aston Freddie was there. Panama Road unfortunately fell. She was vetted and there's no injury to report. But Sunset Wisp was the winner of that.
Yeah, Team Daly have got a nice crop of greyhounds that can run over this 600 metres, and this is certainly one of them, Sunset Wisp. Capable of winning the final next week? I'm not too sure, though.
Probably not.
Yep.
All right, so that's a wrap of those McKenna heats last night. Of course, the box draw has been conducted. I'll get that up shortly, but we'll speak about it on next Wednesday's show and really carve into what the race looks like. In terms of the draw, Box 1, Bebop Jazz. Box 2, Without a Trace. So Prosciuttos have gone bang, bang. Sunset Wisp in Box 3. Urana Cobalt, Box 4. Vista Weird, 5. Fernando Duke, 6. Intrepid Bale, 7. And Poor Yasmin in 8. So when I look at that, Without a Trace is the best dog in the race. She does want to use a bit of the surface. So Bebop Jazz in Box 1. She's got the advantage.
And got the early speed to utilise the draw. So, yeah, you'd think they'd be very hard to beat, those two.
All right, some other moments of interest at Sandown last night. The opening race was one of them where we saw a ripping battle between Valedictorian and Traumatised. And it's been 2 weeks in a row where Valedictorian has been taken on, at least from a market point of view, with Al Ray last week from Box 1. Last night it was Traumatised. And again, he does what he's been doing, and that is leading, running 29.40. Hard to beat running those sort of numbers, which has been proven 2 weeks in a row.
Nice future, this greyhound, doesn't he? Like 5.04 early. Very, very impressive win. Obviously, Jason Thompson gave a big rap to Traumatise, and he did nothing wrong. He ran 29.46. It was a good little effort. But, yeah, Valedictorian, those habits, Jace, obviously are going to take him a long way going forward.
And in what was the main sprint race of the night, the free-for-all in race 4, messy race as well, Bagman. Jeez, he doesn't go around in many races where he'd get away with running 5.16 to the first split and still win, but he hooked around him at an important time of the race to get the chockies.
He did. Another disappointing result for me, running second in that race, but Bagman is clearly the fastest greyhound in that race, and he just was there for the taking and won it, but that was a good victory.
Hey, speaking of results from your point of view, we had Wednesday's show, and a good friend of the show in Matty Field had a greyhound who was on debut on Wednesday night. We heard the audio from Michelle Malia. The mail was, this greyhound goes really well. He was back to the Scheisenhausen. Someone spoils the party. A greyhound with G. Ferrugia next to its name.
Yeah, I blame you for this completely.
Fair income.
Because I was confident in betting my greyhound until I come in here and heard that audio. So thanks for...
So no one wins is what you're saying?
Well, because, yeah, you put me off because it was going to be the biggest debut since Burnborough, and I got backed into $1.50 and we beat it by 6 lengths. And you stopped me from having a bet. You haven't had a good week, Chase.
We've had reason to question your confidence in your own greyhounds for a period of time, and that's another example of that.
So, yeah, you're right.
All right, Queensland last night at the Q, it was sparks flying, and in the opening heat, we didn't have to wait long. Good Odds Cobber and Mapunga Reward. I thought Good Odds Cobber was pretty tame in the end.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't in a position where he sort of had an excuse or anything like that, and in the end, Mapunga Reward loomed up to him, and from that point onwards, it was lights out.
You're not going to get much done going 5.21 at the Q, I'll be honest. So that was the first disappointing part. Mapunga Reward, he loves that room to move early, doesn't he? I mean, he still only went, when I say only, he went 5.15. You've got to go a little bit quicker than that. But once he lobbed down the back, I was watching with a friend and he said, this 3's out and gone. And I said, no, it's lights out here, like you said, because Mapunga Reward was too close. 29.42, terrific. And well-deserved to make a Group 1 final.
Heat 2, Gambella. I mean, she's been itching for a good draw, itching for a run like she had and got the better of Star Turn late.
Jason, when we spoke on Wednesday, we both liked her chances, and she was over $4. She finished $2.60 and favourite. That was a big plunge for her late. And look, after last week's run, she was really impressive. She was drawn well. She can show some good early speed, even though 5.13, again, is not electric, but she held her own to the line and was too good.
Heat 3, Flying Zulu was favourite. Didn't feature in the finish. In the end, it was an enormous run by Cumbria Jack. He looks to be one serious talent with a future.
Well, we spoke last week about Tim Zoo and we lauded over the fact that he ran 29.20. Cumbria Jack, I think, went 29.58 on the night. So the quality is certainly there for this greyhound. Tony Brett, has there ever been a Group 1 race there where Tony Brett doesn't have a finalist?
Wouldn't be one.
I don't think so. Yeah. Anyway.
Heat 4 Blue Blends, and this is a greyhound where we know he's fast, and there's been... What's there been? A situation in a match race and then a good draw in a Head of the Flying Amy where he's gone really quick. And me personally, the unproven part was still doing it in a good field. He's
Off
done
a wide
that
draw.
from
Yep.
a wide draw.
Yep.
He is something serious as well.
He is. He's an unbelievable talent. And as I said, if you look at his early form, Jace, he was really hit or miss. He's just starting to put it all together. Can he win the final, though? It's going to be tough.
Heat 5 won by Tim Zoo. Probably not a lot of words left at this period of time to describe the way that he's going, but it was just professional. Watching it live, I was hoping he'd break the track record. It wasn't to be, but he's gotten really close yet again.
You know, it's the old saying, Jace, that winning form is good form, and he's just racing with this air of confidence at the moment. It's career best form, isn't it? Really. I mean, the way he's going at the moment, clearly the fastest win on the night. Well drawn in the final, you'd say. I know we're going to go through the box draw, so I think he's going to be very, very tough to beat.
And the sixth and final heat, Deadly Avenger was probably the main one flying the flag from a Victorian point of view. And when you looked at the race in running and saw that he's camped behind Dacey's Rory, you probably thought he should win the race from here. In the end, Dacey's Rory kept punching. He was great.
I think we mentioned about Dacey's Rory. He was definitely overs, Jace. He was nearly $5. A great each-way bet, I think, Dacey's Rory. He had one there in 29.39. That's a huge run, and he backed it up with a 29.44 win. He got the jump on Deadly Avenger and was too good, and a definite chance in the final.
So the final is Saturday nights at Q2 Parklands. The way the market looks, well, I guess the main players from a box draw point of view, Blue Blend 1, Dacey's Rory 2, Tim Zoo 3, Star Turn 4, Mapunga Reward 5, Cumbria Jack 6, 7 Gambella, doesn't suit her whatsoever, and Deadly Avenger in 8. So Tim Zoo, possibly the winner of that with Blue Blend, and the market is self-explanatory as well.
You'd think Dacey's Rory is going to beat Blue Blend out, and whether there's going to be some problems.
And Tim Zoo.
Yeah. Whether there's going to be problems holding him out, that'll be interesting. And then where does Tim Zoo sit? If he's close enough, he runs everyone down. John.
Okay, guys, just a quick break while we look at the next at Ballarat, and we've got Victoria Shore shortly, but I will come back to you before Vic. It's at 12:27 at Ballarat Race 2 very, very soon. And with Bet365 at $3.10, number 4, Dynasty Reward has been favourite. But just in the last few minutes, Johnny Allen's top weight, number 1, which is a Cantolado, is at $2.70 and the new favourite. Here's Adam Crittenden when he spoke to Michael this morning, looking at race 2 at Ballarat.
I'm tipping Dynasty Reward, number 4. His first synthetic track run was last start here behind Mercurial Lady, who had quite a few lengths on her rivals, including Dynasty Reward, but he ran well enough. He got into a clear second spot late, and despite the wide gate, I'm prepared to tip him, having seen him on a synthetic track before, which most of his rivals haven't seen or have had only one start and have gone poorly on it. So he has to be rated highly here. The 4. 5, the Village Fox, had a wide run on debut and then improved off that at Wangaratta last time out on a heavy track. First synthetic track run for him. A Cantolado is the stablemate of the Village Fox and goes in for 3rd. And Share the Stars off its debut run on a heavy track, but it jumped out okay before that. So 4, 5, 1 and 9 in race 2.
4, 5, 1 and 9, back to the grey areas.
All right, so Brisbane Cup wrapped up. Queensland Cup heats were ran as well. We'll speak about those next Wednesday. We'll save the cherry for that. In terms of the Meadows tomorrow night, George, it's a pretty tame card. I was surprised to see Lanfranco over 500 metres, but what have you got for us from a tipping point of view?
Yeah, look, I like one at each way odds. I think it'll be each way odds. Race 2, number 1, Weblek Prince. I think it was a good winner on debut. It's up against the greyhound called Metaphorical, who's got some ability.
Massive raps.
And it was a good winner at Ballarat. And even though the 3, My Greyhound Charlestown, will use a bit of the track, I think Metaphorical will beat it out. But I just like where Weblek Prince is drawn. He should get a nice cut into that race 2, number 1. And I also like race 4, number 5, Fade to Black. After its unplaced effort last start, I think he can bounce back and win what looks a winnable grade mixed 4 and 5, in race 4. So race 4, number 5.
Time for the segment that deserves some sort of sting that I forget every single week to put something together. It is the Ferrugia Files. Hillsville Race 9, number 5, Articulate this afternoon.
Place chance.
Geelong Race 5, number 6, Billy Bust up tonight.
Winning chance tonight.
Winning
yeah.
chance.
Yep.
Here we go.
If he jumps cleanly, he's a chance. Yeah.
Meadows tomorrow night. Race 2, number 3, Charlestown, who stitched up the loyal listeners on Tuesday.
No, he's still learning his craft.
Still learning his craft.
And he's
after
up
what we saw him gap a field on Tuesday.
Well, again, you watch the head-on, Jace. He went from box 2 to box 8 in a straight line. He's got to learn how to run straight.
Also at the Meadows, race 4, number 8, Vital Step.
No. His run was awful last week. We were keen on him last week and he went terrible.
Race 8, number 7, Mackinac Peach.
Yeah, winning chance. Yep. She's got a little bit of speed and I'm looking to retire her soon, so she'll come out and prove me wrong.
Okay. All right, Wentworth Park in a heat of the Peter Mosman Opal, race 5, number 1, Summer Quinn.
Yeah, look, up against Laura Keeping, who's a Group 1 winner, so that's going to be hard, but like where she's drawn and she's trialled well.
Sale, race 12, number 3, Ringwald on Sunday.
Place best.
Place at best. Magnificent. All right, now, John.
Is that genuine enough for you? I'm not holding anything back.
Yeah, that was pretty good today.
Yeah.
Well...
Which one was
we like to make these comments in hindsight, as you know.
Which one was the shopping trolley that went from 2 to 8?
It's called Charlestown. Yeah.
Okay,
race
right.
2, number 3 at the Meadows tomorrow night. Hey, before we get to Victoria for the next at Hillsville, John, when people get old, they can sometimes get...
Oh, so that's why you thought you'd come to me with this question.
People can sometimes get grumpy when they get old. I haven't seen any evidence of that from your point of view, but since this bloke's turned 45 last week, he's in a different zone. I've seen some things that are quite concerning, and yesterday
no good.
He was on his high horse about an incident at Aljana, of all places.
You'll like this one, John.
Q George.
So when you're 45, you two things happen, right? You're allowed to be grumpy, and you need to get your prostate checked. Is that fair? Yeah. Okay. So I was in Aljana, obviously the charcoal chicken place, and it was pretty busy. And I was sitting next to a guy who was probably about 5 or 10 feet away. Took a FaceTime call with his girlfriend and put it on speaker for the whole restaurant to hear. I don't care what you're having for dinner, mate, and I don't care that your missus has booked you a hairdressing appointment for the place you like. Mate...
I saw that on a tram yesterday. The guy was in a meeting.
Wipe your mouth.
A Teams
say to your
meeting.
missus, I'm going to call you back in 5 minutes. Nobody needs to know what the hell is going on. I mean, I went there to eat my chicken and tabbouleh in peace, and I copped that. Okay. Honestly,
it's not the way you start off your weekend.
It's living room behaviour. You don't do that in a public
place.
Don't
we feel for this bloke.
Little lie down for you, George. Half a Valium and a lie down.
We're doing this every week, by the way. I've got some.
Done deal.
I'm angry with all you people.
That's a wrap. That's a wrap at Aljana. Not only there, but here for Grey Areas on this Friday. We'll be back on Wednesday. In the meantime, enjoy your afternoon with John Henry and Andrew Bensley. In the meantime, race 5 at Hillsville.
Giacomici looks very well drawn in the outside alley, should get plenty of room. The green light is switched on for the 5th here at the Ville. We're ready to run, and they're off and chasing. And Cho Giacomici a little tardy at the start. Pinging the lid there was Irish Brew in search of the inside rail, and Superfly Girls get the flyer right and starts a charge on forward. Dropping in behind them is River King looking for a run there. Vinnie's Camel closest to the inside rail. Jazz Hands Natting starting to motor up on the inside from Cho Giacomici, and Rev Carita is well back. But charge behind it, Superfly Girl from River King narrowly into second. Cho Giacomici over on the outside. Those two look to be locked together. Then we had further there to Irish Brew. Jazz Hands wasn't far away. Further there to Benora Point. Then we had Vinnie's Camel, Rev Corrida, one of the last in, and the run 19 and 84 Superfly Girl at a nice price too. So Superfly Girl from River King in the frame, 6 from 3. In the third place, number 8, Cho Giacomici has run third out in the deep, and fourth in number 4, Jazz Hands. And Jazz Hands is always thereabouts here at the track and certainly loves getting to the rail here at Hillsville as well. 6, 3, 8 and 4, a half length by 3/4, a half length by 3/4, 19 and 83 the time, 19 and 83 the time here on the 5th event. The run home in 13 and 12. Superfly Girl, nice run for Victor Gay at Hastings, the black daughter of Shimmer Shine from No Vacancy, owned and raced by C. Gay. Congratulations all around. around. Start number 79, win number 12, and Superfly Girl, she is flying. Good PB of 19 and 55 still.
Thank you, Victoria. It's 6, 3, 8 and 4. About to go to Adam Crittenden at Ballarat. Number 6, Superfly Girl, $9.90 and $3.10. 3, River King, $3.20. 8, Koji Michi at $1.04 and 4, Just Hands or Jazz Hands. The Quinella, $48. Exacta, $76. Trifecta, $396. And the first 4, 6, 3, 8 and 4 has paid $2,846. The running double, 8 and 6, $14. The Friday feast coming up with Andrew Bensley after this race, which is the second at Ballarat with Adam Crittenden.
Last couple loading the Village Fox, a yellow coloured cap here for Jake Duffy. And the outside, Dynasty Reward, and the field's just about ready for race 2, the Evergreen Turf 3-year-old maiden. 1400 off they go. Archer's Heart 2 lengths slow out of the stalls. For Doc Began Well, Dynasty Reward from a